The first weekend of the 2017 NFL season is officially wrapped up in the books. I had actually went 2-6 this past week in my predictions for my picks last week. Little worse than what I thought. I would have done. My only wins were the Falcons and Raiders game. The Falcons defeated the Bears, and the Raiders defeated the Tennessee Titans. I'm not gonna tell you the scores of the other games because it got me down a little bit. I will go through who won, but I'm going to announce the scores. The Chiefs beat the Patriots, and I'm not really surprised about that. The Jaguars beat the Texans. I said the Falcons and the Raiders both won. And then the Packers, the Cowboys, the Vikings, and the Broncos all won. So I'd obviously picked the Seahawks, the Giants, the Saints, and the Chargers, bringing my record in Week 1 to 2-6. Like I said, I was a little pissed off, I guess you could say. I thought I would have done better, but hey, it's only Week 1. There's 17 weeks to the NFL season. I got plenty of time to get back above 500, and I think I could possibly do that this weekend because there are some great games this weekend as well. Week 2 of the 2017 NFL season. I did think the biggest upset this past week, though, the Jaguars went to Houston, especially with the Houston Texans. Basically coming home about a week and a half before this game due to Hurricane Irma, or Hurricane Harvey, excuse me. Hurricane Irma was the one after Harvey. And they got to get reaccommodated in life, and then they got to go out and play football. Yeah, I understand the circumstances, but I thought they would have played better, especially for the city, due to the fact that they're dedicating this season to the city of Houston. So I thought they disappointed a little bit as well. The best game then Monday night, late game on Monday night between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Denver Broncos. Denver got up 21-7, and then LA scored 2 touchdowns in a matter of 70 seconds, I believe it was, and tied the game at 21. And Denver ended up beating LA 24-21 in regulation due to LA's new kicker. I don't even know what his name is. I know he sucks because he missed the game tying field goal to send the game to overtime. And then, a team that impressed me was the Los Angeles Rams. The Chargers, impressed me too, but I had, picked them going into that game. So the Rams, went I ranked that above the Los Angeles Chargers. They put up 46 on the Indianapolis Colts at home, and it's because of their offense, but their defense. Defense is still spectacular. They did lose Greg Williams to the Cleveland Browns. Defense coordinator, he's now in Cleveland. And the Browns almost beat Pittsburgh this past week at home. The Rams were in so many close games last year, but their offense, it wasn't as good as what I think it's going to be this year, especially after this past weekend putting up 46. Jared Goff probably had the game of his life. Todd Gurley ran the ball well for the first time since it seemed like when he was playing at Georgia. And special teams always helps as well. So the Rams impressed. The reason why that offense is doing so much better than last year already is because of Sean McVay. You saw what he did in Washington with the Redskins and Kirk Cousins. And I've talked about Kirk Cousins and the Redskins. Washington needs to lock them up, or else they're probably going to get back down the shitter if they don't, because unless they do draft a good quarterback, because we also happened with our G3 that went down the drain, and I don't think they want to go that direction again. Keep the guy you have who's playing well. Pay the guy the money, and then move on after that. But the Rams, they impressed me. Games this weekend then. I got Thursday night football, the Houston Texans and Cincinnati Bengals. Sunday night football is the Packers, Green Bay Packers and the Atlanta Falcons in the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. First NFL regular season game for the Falcons in this new stadium. And since I said it is Sunday night football, well, Chick-fil-A is still closed on Sundays. And then Monday night, the Detroit Lions go to East Rutherford to play the New York Football Giants. Thursday night, though, as I said, Texans go to Cincy to play the Bengals. They did bench Tom Savage middle of the game last week. Brought in Deshaun Watson. He threw a touchdown, the only touchdown they scored on Sunday against Jacksonville at home. And I think the future is bright for him. And I think they'll go into Cincinnati and win. I think the game's probably going to be close. It's hard to tell, especially this early in the season, especially with two teams that shit the bed this past week. Cincinnati got shut out by Baltimore at home, and as I said, Houston lost to Jacksonville, one of the worst teams in the NFL last year. So it's hard to tell, but I think Houston will pick up the win. Minnesota then goes to Pittsburgh. I'm obviously going to take the Steelers. Minnesota did look good on Monday night, though, with Sam Bradford at quarterback. Dalvin Cook running the ball. Broke Adrian Peterson's rookie rushing record for rushing yards in a single game. Broke that mark by about 20-25 yards. Their defense is playing, good. They do have one of the best defenses in the NFL. That's what kept them. That's why they were 5-0 to start the year last year. They could have played better, throughout the rest of the year, but they didn't, and that's what didn't keep them in games, and that's why they finished 8-8 for the second straight year. But I think Pittsburgh will pick the win. They're playing at home. The last time the Vikings played in Pittsburgh, I believe, I forget what year it was, but I know Brett Favre was playing for the Vikings. Last time the Steelers and Vikings they did play was back in 2013 over in London, and that was the Vikings home game. So they come back to Pittsburgh now. It's every 3 to 4 years, these especially teams in the AFC, NFC, they'll play each other. The first time they'll play, say in Pittsburgh. The second time they'll play in Minnesota. The difference between that was that they played in London in 2013, 4 years ago. So it seems like it's every 4 years. But next game then is the Arizona Cardinals and Indianapolis Colts. This game's really a toss-up now too. David Johnson's out 2-3 months with a broken wrist. He's not going to be able to play. Can't hold on to the football and run at the same time. He will be getting surgery. They put him on IR. Bruce Arians going back to Indy, where he was the interim head coach for Chuck Pagano. Pagano still on the hot seat, I think. If he doesn't win, I think he could be fired. Midway through the season if they don't get something going. I understand Andrew Luck's hurt, but you think they'd have a better backup situation than Scott Tolzien, but that's not my job to go out and sign a backup quarterback. It's Jim Irsay's. So I think Arizona's going to come out on top. I think Bruce Arians, a lot of people will probably say if the Cardinals don't win, he'll also be on the hot seat. But, you can't throw in an injury, and it goes back to what you said about Luck. But Arians, this would be the first year that they really haven't, won. The Colts, they've been bad, it seems like, the past 2 years because Andrew Luck hasn't played. He's the future of that franchise. He is the franchise. As we speak, but he just hasn't played. He's been in the league, what now, 6 years? Yeah, he played good his first couple years, but he can't stay healthy. I don't know if it's time to move on from him or what, but um, I think Arizona's going to come out on top, regardless. Game of the week, then I think Philly and Kansas City, in Kansas City at Arrowhead. Doug Peterson, Andy Reid. Peterson was an assistant under him in Philadelphia and also in Kansas City before accepting the Philadelphia Eagles job before the start of last season. Um, I think Kansas City's going to come on top. Kareem Hunt looked extremely well this past week against the New England Patriots, who play at New Orleans. That's the next game on the schedule. I'll get to that here in a second. I think Kansas City's going to come on top. Like I said, I think Kareem Hunt will run the ball extremely well again, and Philly's defense is going to be in for a rude awakening on Sunday. New England, as I said, lost to Kansas City at home on Thursday night to open the season. They were up, but then Kansas City came back and didn't let go. I think they go down to New Orleans, who had trouble with Minnesota this past week. They got down early and stayed down the rest of the game. They did come back somewhat, losing by 10, but they got to figure out their running back situation. They have Adrian Peterson, who they signed in free agency. They still have Mark Ingram, and then they draft Alvin Kamara from the University of Tennessee. New Orleans offense has been a pass-first offense ever since Sean Payton arrived. They haven't had a bell cow running back since God knows when. Mark Ingram, they did have Reggie Bush. He was more of a pass catcher, anyways, in the NFL. They do have Mark Ingram. He's somewhat a mix of both. But then Peterson, he never really caught the ball in Minnesota. They were always a run-first team with him. The thing I don't understand is if he's going to be bitching and complaining about not getting the ball like he did on Monday night on the sidelines in front of everybody on national TV, then why the hell did you sign with a team that you knew was going to be a pass-first offense? And, especially when you have another running back in Mark Ingram. I know he didn't know that they're going to draft Kamara, but still, I don't think it's going to work out for Peterson in New Orleans. I said it when he signed. I didn't like the fit. I still don't, especially after seeing the game on Monday night this past week. But if I had to pick somebody to win this game between New England and New Orleans, I'm going to take the Patriots on the road. Games at 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon on CBS. As I said, New England lost to Kansas City. If anybody listened to Bill Belichick's press conference, I didn't, but I can tell you exactly what he said. We're on to New Orleans. Just like he said, we're on to Cincinnati 3 years ago. They won, I believe, 8 of their next 9 games, made the playoffs, won the playoffs, went to Super Bowl, underdogs against the Seattle Seahawks, beat the Seahawks in Super Bowl 49, mainly because the Seahawks didn't run the ball at the 1-yard line. Still blows my mind that they didn't do that, but I think New England, they're going to go down to New Orleans and take care of business. Bill Belichick will have them ready because, like I said, we're on to New Orleans. A team east of New Orleans that didn't play this past week, the Miami Dolphins, they go out to LA to play the Chargers. The Dolphins didn't play due to Hurricane Irma. The Chargers, they came back and came up short on Monday night against the Denver Broncos. I think LA will come out on top in this. The week off, especially to start the year, it just it screws you all up. They have to go across country. It's going to be hard to say if there's going to be a lot of fans at the StubHub Center for the Chargers' first game during the regular season since they've moved to LA, or if the place is going to be sold out. Well, we'll have to see. It's going to be real quiet, I'll tell you that, regardless. It's only 27,000 seats compared to 60, 65 they had at Qualcomm in San Diego. But I think LA will come out on top. Dallas goes to Denver then. Both teams won this past week. Dallas took care of the Giants at home. They go on the road now. Denver, they figured out their quarterback situation. Trevor Simeon's the guy. They did sign Brock Osweiler. Don't play the damn guy. He sucks. He sucked when he was in Denver the first time. He just got all of this hype and media attention because he was taking over for Peyton Manning, and then the Broncos ended up going to the Super Bowl and winning. And then he signs a big deal, goes to Houston, gets traded to Cleveland, blah, 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 blah. He's back in Denver now. They also have Paxton Lynch, who is currently injured. He should be back here soon, but I think Simeon's the guy. Move forward with him. I think he'll play well against Dallas. But Dallas's defense is just too tough. Dallas will defeat the Broncos on Sunday. Talked about Sean McVay a little bit earlier. The Rams, who the team he's now the head coach for, will host the Washington Redskins, the former team he was employed by as the offensive coordinator. This game's really a toss-up, I think, as well. I think LA's going to come out on top. They just have more weapons than Washington. They traded for Sammy Watkins. They got Todd Gurley. They have, what's his name? Robert Woods, who they got last year from Buffalo. Their offensive line has gotten better. Their defense, like I said earlier, is pretty stout. But then a guy a lot of people really haven't been talking about is Cooper Kupp, drafted in the third round out of Eastern Washington. He's really helping. He's really doing well fantasy football wise. So if you don't have Cooper Kupp already, and I was stupid, I did have him, and then I dropped him and picked up somebody I thought was better, but it kind of stabbed me in the back. So I don't have Cooper Kupp. Long story short, somebody else does. He's tearing up the league. It's only 1 week, but we'll have to see how he plays this week. But he's really their number 2 behind Sammy Watkins, and Jared Goff. Throwing on the ball, young quarterback. I think he'll have a good game on Sunday. I think it'll be close, but I think the Rams will come out on top. Talk about cross-country trip for the Dolphins going to LA to play the Chargers. The Redskins also have to go cross-country to play the Rams. And I think this is one of the few weekends that the Rams and Chargers will be both playing home games the same weekend at the same time. They tried to, not do that because, LA traffic's already bad as it is, but, they're not, at least they're not playing in the same stadium. This obviously would not happen if they were playing in the same stadium, which they will be in a couple years. They will be sharing a stadium in Inglewood, but that's the least of my worries at the moment. Sunday Night Football then is the Green Bay Packers and the Atlanta Falcons rematch of the NFC Championship game this past year. Atlanta went to the Super Bowl, blew that 28-3 lead. Nobody's ever going to let that down. I think Green Bay will get revenge. I think they'll go into Atlanta, spoil the new stadium because Falcons are opening up the new stadium this weekend, and they'll spoil the first game of the new stadium. So I'm going to take Green Bay then on Sunday night, and then Monday night is the Detroit Lions and the New York Football Giants. The Giants, they could have played a little bit better this past week against the Cowboys on Sunday night, but they didn't. They go back home then, play a Lions team who put up 40-42 this past week. I think this will be a close game, possibly go to overtime, but I think the Giants will come out on top. It's going to depend on who runs the football better. Both teams really haven't established a good running game. so far this year or at the end of last year. So I think whoever runs the ball better will win, but I'm going to take the New York Giants. And then that's it for this week in the NFL. Be sure to subscribe to Across the Goal on YouTube. Follow on all social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search Across the Goal on Facebook. Follow at ATGL on both Twitter and Instagram. And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well. My Twitter is at MohanLuke96, and then my Instagram is at Godissart96. And then be sure to go check out Week 3 college football predictions. That video is the video prior to this. And then next week, I'll obviously do a recap of this week in the NFL, do a preview of Week 3 then next week. As I said, in college football predictions video, it's football from here on out, week in and week out. So you guys aren't going to have to worry about content. But then next week, college football, Week 4 predictions, Week 3 recap. And then WWE No Mercy is on September 24th. So I'll be giving a preview of that as well. But in the meantime, hopefully you like this video. Give it a thumbs up, share it with family and friends, and then I will see everybody sometime soon.